It's week 3, injuries galore, new players crushing our hearts, breaking news all around, and it's time to start getting back into the Battle Royale streets on Underdog Fantasy Sports, chasing those top prizes. Let's get right to it. Welcome in one and all to the Fantasy Sanctuary. I am Tyler, aka Emo Cowboy, here to walk you through week 3 Battle Royale slate. And my goodness, we have got lots going on, lots to talk through. Early in the week, it seemed like George Kittle was set up to just be the smash of all smashes, with Debo likely not playing. Then he's a DNP at practice the last 2 days. Nico pops up on the injury report. We've got two Texans running backs doubtful or out for week 3. It's madness everywhere, but that means there's chaos to be taken advantage of. So I wanted to talk through a few things, some must drafts, some angles to attack, some disgusting dumpster diving that may not be as disgusting come Sunday morning. And let's talk through it, folks. Let's talk through it. Let's draft some teams. Let's figure this out. Let's chase the prize in the Battle Royale streets. Looking through these, it seems like rankings and projections may not be taking into account all of the things that are going on with all the late breaking news. Speaking of which, let me pull up a few things breaking just now that we want to be mindful of coming into this slate. George Kittle announced doubtful. Evan Ingram likely out Monday. Just a news for the DFS folks. It looks like it's going to be another Zach Charbonnet week with Ken Walker doubtful for this week. Terry McLaurin getting some greasy wheel talk from Kingsbury about we got to get him going. DK Metcalf off the injury report. Let's see what else. Jake Ferguson not being listed on the injury report. So it looks like Ferguson potential target in that Baltimore game at tight end. Tight end kind of gross. CeeDee Lamb not on. Josh Downs back this week. Definitely an interesting play with Anthony Richardson stacks and potential pivots off of Michael Pittman volume or the Alec Pierce go Burr 2-week stretch. It'll be interesting for that. T. Higgins saying he's feeling 100% back and planning to play Monday. So just another DFS note. So with all that, as far as the Texans are concerned, though, Nico Collins taken off the injury report, which is good stuff. But Dame Pierce was listed out. Joe Mixon listed doubtful. So all of a sudden, Cam Akers becomes, someone that is likely to be a late week boost. I talked about this on the FanSpeak Network Battle Royale Wednesday night show that this seemed pretty likely based on early reports about Joe Mixon's ankle and Dame Pierce's immediate DNP after a late week injury. And then Justin Herbert being listed as questionable, but his quote was he's not sure if he's going to play. So a potentially already ugly game with Pittsburgh and the Chargers getting potentially uglier with either a very limited Justin Herbert, who was already dealing with plantar fasciitis, and potentially, when Jim Harbaugh was asked if Easton Stick would be coming in as a contingency backup, he said, we're not going to reveal anything. So, God forbid we get an Easton Stick quarterbacking against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Really, truly could be a complete dog water offense for the LA Chargers this week. So definitely any sort of fun back stacks with Justin Herbert and the Chargers seem less and less fun and likely. Although if Herbert plays, I think you have to keep in mind that if Johnson's going to kind of be used as this slot guy, it could still get there. But yeah, it's playing either pass receiver seems pretty thin and flimsy right now. Could have been a fun scroll down pairing, but with that late injury for Justin Herbert, not feeling great. Taysom Hill questionable, puts him back in the driver's seat of interesting play in a high scoring Vegas total game versus the Eagles. Addison ruling out means that as far as the Vikings are concerned, Naylor is on the menu. He's been popping really nicely in fantasy points ass separation metric and like top 10, if I do recall correctly. Aaron Jones having a really wonky week where he fumbled and was outproduced on the ground by Ty Chandler, but still saw 5 targets for 36 yards. With his ADP, he could be a really strong scroll down, depending on how you want to stack up Darnold. Jefferson taken off the injury report, so his quad bruise not a big deal. Njoku out, so probably another boost to Amari Cooper's usage has been pretty strong. Just really missing on some big plays, including a couple of potential touchdowns. So his projections stay strong despite very heavy volume. This could be a get right week, or this could just be another week where Jerry Jeudy sees some decent work over Njoku being out, operating as the second target. An interesting play with the Browns running backs. Ford getting kind of demoted in a way with Foreman seeing so much work back. In this New York matchup, pretty favorable for the running back. So, if you have any faith in which one, Foreman getting much more involved and I think taking most of the goal line stuff. So, there's a chance that one of these guys pops. There's a chance that neither one matters. But as far as scroll down chaos is concerned, we've seen Foreman have, a 4 touchdown game last year. His strong rushing usage, it would be an interesting swing in some of these, these battle royale streets. A lot of field to compete with. So every once in a while, you got to take a swing. Looks like Michael Pittman expected to play week 3, was dealing with a back and calf thing. Maybe AD Mitchell finally puts it together with with these things all going out. But as far as the Miami game is concerned, Raheem Mostert doubtful. Skylar Thompson, the quarterback, really hurts the projection of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It'll be interesting how people play this. Some people are going to completely avoid the Miami pass game, and for fair reason. Vegas does expect Seattle to really push this team, and Geno's been looking really strong. That pass game has been pretty strong. The Miami defense has been not much to be worried about, as we just saw the Buffalo Bills have their complete way with them last week on the ground. Devon Achan's workload is definitely something still to target, especially considering his strong pass game usage. I understand people just playing it through Devon Achan and nothing really else. That said, Jonnu or Waddle or Tyreek could absolutely get there with just some more low ADOT consistent stuff going on. It's going to be another week where I'm going to tout the Buccaneers. They've been looking very hot and on fire. A little bit disappointing, a matchup last week between the Lions and the Bucs, but Chris Godwin getting insane usage. Wednesday when his ADP, I pointed out on the FanSpeak network that Godwin's a target with all this usage, especially in the slot, especially with Patrick Surtain on the outside, potentially matching up with Evans. That said, this shadow matchup, narrative could definitely keep Mike Evans' ownership lower and therefore make a Baker double much more interesting, considering that Rachaad White was dealing with something early in the week, but it looks like he's been removed from the injury report. So as far as Rachaad White getting like a double stack, that's back in play. That said, he kind of, I know he got the groin injury early in that game, but he kind of ceded a little bit more work to Bucky Irving. neither of which did too much. So this could definitely be another game where they dominate the rookie who's in Bo Nix in Denver, who's not really doing much of anything, and just get plenty of opportunities at you know uh, at more passing touchdowns. I think I'm gonna be attacking Baker singles and doubles once again. Very, very in on that. And then everyone's darling, the Arizona Cardinals, just running roughshod over everyone. James Conner's role stronger than ever. Kyler Murray seeing awesome usage on the ground and in the air. A plus matchup once again. Everyone touting Greg Dortch for this potential, slot heavy game usage. That said, he pops up on the injury report with a hamstring injury where he was limited Friday. I'm going to look up that injury thing to check and see if that was a late week thing, because late week injuries usually worse than early season injuries. Because as far as like these Cardinal stacks, you want to be involved in a high scoring offense with a nice total. That said, it doesn't hurt to differentiate yourself a little bit as far as how you stack it and how you attack it. All right, pulling up their injury report because they're weird and they don't just post it on Twitter in easy form. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I thought, because I didn't see. So Greg Dortch was a late addition to the injury report. So potential fun, sneaky Greg Dortch slot attack could be in question if he misses anybody at time. Slight boost to Michael Wilson, who could kick inside, but also I would just expect Trey McBride to kind of pick up some of those touches, who was already a strong play, sneakily potentially gets a little bit more inside looks, operating as kind of like that slot tight end. So the Kyler and Trey McBride stacks overfloweth potentially. So good to note that. Late week stream, you take advantage of the late news. Kamara just continuing to go up in ADP with his strong usage. Kamara, really strong usage, really efficient offense, high scoring Vegas total. Not as heavy of receptions, but strong, consistent usage via the pass game, as well as a Philly defense is giving up a lot more on the ground than they normally are. So as far as like just super heavy volume, 4 touchdowns last week. I don't expect that high of a score this week, but hard to fade that kind of usage. That said, Saquon seeing a lot of similar heavy usage, but with a quarterback taking much more of the work. That said, we've seen him still get a goal line carry and a goal line target. Neither one of those things turned out right last week, but still could potentially be on that. So as far as those workloads are concerned, but speaking of workloads, Jordan Mason set up with Debo out, taking away some of that rushing work and short 8-out work, and Kittle out. We should fully expect the 49ers to have their absolute way with the Rams, and this could be a true nuclear spot for Jordan Mason. As far as this very hapless Rams defense that we expect them to have their absolute way with. I mean, you're getting 95% CMC right now, going after Devon Achane. I believe Jordan Mason's workload, it's going to be a heavy target for me. Personally, Devontae Adams with this Raiders offense, the pass rate being much higher than we expected, the Carolina defense being very, very pathetic, and I fully expect Raiders to be a fun way to attack these slates, given how much they could really put up Sunday versus a defense that can't stop anything. The defensive line just suffered 2 additional injuries this week, and Bowers and Adams have had very strong usage. Adams getting there last week with a touchdown on 12 targets. The one note, though, is that Carolina's starting Dalton could keep this game much more competitive potentially than we would have seen with Bryce. So the pass game, I think, is going to be a definite target. And Minshew's looked, very serviceable, not making a lot of mistakes thus far, not really being anything like just insane, insane RPO style, volume right now. But at the same time, not really doing a whole lot in fantasy. So the Raiders piece is definitely very interesting. What's up in F42 GM Tyler? If you get some sexy clicks, the sexiest clicks, baby. Thanks for stopping in. Amon Ra showed he is not dead and, in fact, can be fed just like I believe Harmon called him a couple years ago, Bud Light Cooper Cup. And much like Bud Light Cooper Cup, 19 targets, over 100 yards receiving. The one thing, the Bud Light Cooper Cup thing is that, Cooper Cup, much stronger red zone usage than Amon Ra. So still looking for that first touchdown of the season. But all reports are that he's cleared from the injury report. Let's double check that instead of talking out of our ass before we make a determination. Let's see. Injury report. Here we go. Yep, looks like Amon Ra and JMO both not on the injury report. So as far as get right spot, Arizona defense, not atrocious, but also definitely not stopping anything. And I know Goff's been pretty bad. Goff is like more undrafted than not. Scroll down, double stack option with JMO and with Amon Ra. That said, Narrative Street, so I was on the record week one saying this looked like a game where Ben Johnson came in and got JMO going. He was obviously like his first read and his manufactured touches and his target share and his air yard share was insanely dominant. And then that did not stick to week two. He still got really strong usage and just missed on a couple of big plays, but it was very obvious they wanted to get JMO going week one. And then with all the talk about Amon Ra, they came in and fed Amon Ra. Ben Johnson this week in a presser saying, pretty much the same thing. We got JMO going week one. We got Amon Ra going week two. This week it's Laporta week. Next week we don't know. And so they are featuring guys, for better or for worse, and they are pointing that out. So as far as bounce back weeks, the Goff doubles definitely play around with, including Laporta. I think Laporta's upside is that he's utilizing the red zone. We saw his biggest game come from a 3-touchdown game last year, late in the season. With the rushing game being as successful as it is, with Gibbs being just as explosive and efficient, and Monty being as successful consistently in the red zone, until they throttle back, their run game in the red zone, Laporta and Mon Ra are going to kind of struggle to see that touchdown nuclear ceiling. But definitely an interesting week to pivot off of either one of JMO or Amon Ra. I think it's hard to ignore the heavy volume that JMO is seeing through 2 weeks. So I understand going for Laporta for that. That said, as far as the tight end slate is concerned, Brandon Bauer is definitely in a tier of their own. Kittle not likely to play, so you can play around with that Q tag, but I would prefer not to draft a Q tag above, a last round ADP to try to swap out of. Andrews still yet to really get going, but this is a matchup where I'm still fine going after him. Much better usage than Isaiah likely last week. Ferguson probably belongs in a tier right there or above Dallas Goedert. I know with A.J. Brown going out, Goddard could get somewhat a higher ceiling, but we saw Britton Covey get more involved than that. So that's really just more of when we talk about a must-draft guy, Devonta Smith really stands out. Was, I think, a penalty away from a 2-touchdown game. So he's going to be seeing a lot of that workload. So as far as either going after Saquon and Devonta as the two pieces of that offense, or just doing Hurts and Devonta and fading the Saquon. I won't be prioritizing Goddard as much unless you miss out or you just want to do that contrarian stack. Ferguson's role and usage much better. So if he's all full systems go, I think he's a much more priority target We saw Schoonmaker do something similar on way less routes. Parkinson continues to get all of the routes with Davis Allen out, who is out again this week, but doing dick all with it. Jonnu without Tua is a terrifying thing. Noah Fant was on the injury report with a knee and a toe this week, but looks like he was cleared. Yeah, great question, Richard, asking how do I feel about Barkley this week? I mean, said it at the top when looking at the top ranked running backs. It's hard to fade guys with this heavy of workload. Saquon's getting a ton of workload in both phases of the game, as well as on the goal line. Last week, I think two potential goal line touchdowns negated by penalties or drops, and then they both turn into touchdowns. So the way I'd be playing it though is, if you're playing Saquon and Smith, I don't think you play Hurts. And if you play Hurts and Smith, you don't play Saquon. I think it's just one of those types of things where the workload is so good that if he does have a 30-plus-ish game, it's likely because Hurts didn't get the goal line touchdowns. What's good, Andrew? How's it going? Happy Friday, everybody. Oh, you know what? I usually put on some music. I keep saying this, and because it's the Dynasty banner, I don't have the music. Can you tell I don't like silence? All right, so NF42 asking who my favorite switch is if Kittle's out. So if Kittle's out, it's very likely Kittle's out. Like, Kittle's doubtful right now, outside of Fergie and Goddard. Yeah, so this is a good question, and so that's kind of what I was going through tight end, because at the end of the day, the New Orleans tight ends are tempting just because of the Vegas total. They're kind of, cannibalizing each other. Noah Fant's usage has been underlying not bad in this Miami game. Random pop, absolutely. That said, part of his issue is he's not as involved in the play action stuff. So like the easy touchdown, not as much there. I don't know how you play Cole Kmet. I know he got these targets, but that was a game where they were trying anything and everything. Gerald Everett's still seeing too much usage. Tucker Kraft, kind of like, it's the thesis of the Green Bay guys just kind of, cannibalize each other, is kind of going pretty strong. Chigakonkwo, getting that touchdown in week 1, but really not much else. Without Hopkins actually out, it seems like nothing's really going on there. The whole Theo Johnson thing has not worked out to do anything thus far. And the interesting one is, like, JT Sanders is still like the main tight end on the Panthers. Is that more meaningful now with the quarterback that can actually like lead the offense? Considering the other tight ends are out, it sucks. Quite frankly, I think Mayer is interesting. He's not getting nearly as much work as Bowers, but we saw in preseason him get like a very easy little dump off screen touchdown. Stover's interesting with Brevin Jordan tearing his ACL. He and Brevin were already kind of working in around Schultz. So, and Stover, sneaky underrated prospect coming out. So definitely someone that could, sneak in and, do something. But yeah, that's not exciting, not upside. So I'd say, to answer your question, my gut says you can chase the routes in Colby Parkinson. You are worried about how that offensive line is going to hold up with San Francisco. And if, quick passes likely go to Jordan Whittington, who's a really interesting sneaky play this week, as far as like consolidating that Cooper Kupp role. I think Taysom is an interesting play. I don't know how much they're going to get him involved. I know he's questionable for the Eagles, but he was in the hospital with a chest injury just a couple of days ago. Pat Freiermuth is doing minimal stuff. They're not really attacking the middle of the field, so he becomes pretty much their only middle of the field like option, while Pickens runs all the deep out routes and vertical routes. I expect this, like, we're already seeing the totals kind of drop with the potential Justin Herbert limited and out. So as far as that's concerned, I'd say the pass game of Noah Fant is much more interesting. Greg Dulcich's usage isn't bad. The offense just can't do anything. He was apparently limited early week, but it looks like he was cleared from the injury report. So against Tampa Bay, I'd say Greg Dulcich is sneaky interesting if they just finally stop making the plane out of like 1.5 ADOT passes. He is operating kind of like as like a pseudo second target on the offense, with McLaughlin not really getting as much. And then Johnny Munt is their passing game tight end, but you don't expect to see a lot of that volume. It's Naylor, it's Jefferson, it's really nobody else right now. Um, yeah, it's probably I know Dalton Schultz seems interesting and worthwhile, but I truly think Taysom much better play, and for now his ADP is much more. So I'd say Taysom is the Kittle replacement, or you take the shot on the Jonnu Smith where they go more low A dot and they just try to dump the stuff off. He was pretty efficient with the yak stuff. And then you just take the shot on like uh the Noah Fant pass game play, but with Metcalf and Jason do what they're doing. I think Greg Dulcich stands out as a guy that he's been underperforming his usage quite a bit. Leone's model pointed that out. So I think that's pretty interesting. You got to think one of these weeks they're going to get it together. Tampa Bay defensively, not exactly stifling people. It was more of just a bad golf game that kept that total down previously. So those are kind of the names I'd be looking for, avoiding the guys that kind of you wanted to avoid. Is Fant out? Did I miss that? All right, let's check. Let's check the Seattle injury report. See this like this late in the week, it's pretty much just like uh, an injury report check. I see George Fant tackle out. I see two linebackers out and doubtful. I see Kenneth Walker doubtful. Fant is not on the injury report. Okay, so what's up with this Eric Saubert stuff? I saw his name on and off the clock. What are you sick fucks trying to convince yourselves of? I mean, we've done this with Ross Dwelly like the last couple years, right? Like they don't treat the next man up with tight end like Johnny Munt's getting all the TJ Hawkinson work, right? No. Like Kittle being out means go after Jordan Mason, go after Brandon Ayuk. And that's probably just Jordan Mason. What's up, historical anomalies? Everybody wants to be a cowboy. Richard asks, any interest in Higgins on Arizona given how much 2-3 tight ends and sets they're running? I think he's a little bit more interesting this week. If Greg Dortch is a late addition injury with the hamstring this late in the week, I know everybody was kind of salivating about this like slot target thing to Dortch, but if Dortch is going to be questionable or doubtful come game time, they could easily go a little bit more heavy schemed, and then Higgins becomes more interesting. That said, it was just a single touchdown. It's like if you're doing that, it's a leverage dart off of. I think it just flows more through McBride from a passing game standpoint. I think there are stronger darts. I think the Saints tight ends are like the same thesis, but they're going to run more pass routes. Pings Picks saying he's going to shake it up with Parkinson. I mean, I hope you were making a Parkinson's joke because that's pretty funny if you did, and if you're not, I'm making that joke right now. He's got to pop one of these weeks, right? But it's probably going to be a week where the total is stronger. NM42 saying Otten has sucked, but 86%. Yeah, yes, he is saying what everyone's thinking. He's running on the routes. He's just not doing anything yet. The matchup narrative against Patrick Surtain is definitely viable. If you're doing Bucks doubles and you're going for Otten over Evans with the tough matchup, sure. I am more likely to build Bucks doubles with Godwin and Evans than Otten because I believe the FUD is going to keep Evans' ownership low. Whereas I think there are stronger dart plays for tight end. But tight end's just a random spike thing, so it's totally viable. It's just it's more narrative driven than anything. Yeah, exactly. Richard saying that is literally the story of Otten. He'll do the nothing spike, nothing spike. I, you just hope. My bags hope he does something in the playoffs. That's it. Jonathan Mateo, welcome to the chat, saying thoughts on Murray over 33.5 rushing yards, Jones under 184.5 pass yards, Godwin over 39.5. You just like give me your whole slip. I think Murray over rushing yards is a nice one for sure. He's hit over 50 the last 2 games. He's looked very, very back and normal to his normal self. Detroit's D-line getting some good pressure, so scrambling as far as that goes, like that a lot. Outside of that, I have no idea. Oh, Daniel Jones under. Yeah, the Daniel Jones under is totally fine. The Cleveland rush defense, not that strong. Godwin over 39.5. That's definitely not his yardage. His like yardage is like in the 60s. But I'm taking the Godwin over receptions and over yards. For sure, his usage is just too strong, and projections haven't adjusted to that. I'm not really into the Henry over. Justice Hill just got a 2-year extension, so if anything, you just go play a little bit of Justice Hill overs if you believe and buy that these offenses are kind of gonna drive each other to kind of go further and longer. Saquon over is totally fine given the game environment, and Ayuk over for sure. I believe if you're asking Ayuk over 49.5 yards, his projection's probably like what 60. I think the Pick'ems have him at like 66 or 67, maybe 68.5 yards, and I think a couple of the strong projections have him at 70 or 72. So yeah, that's totally fine. Andrew saying prop bet for you all. Tank Dell over 3.5 rush yards. He's averaging 7 yards per rush. I mean, yeah, especially if Dame and Mixon are going to be out. You figure they're going to be a little bit tricky with how they're spelling Cam Akers. Dare Agumbawale not likely to be in and all. Yeah, you Fugazi, you have glasses, you can't read Fant. No, I know, wrong Fant. I know it is unfortunate they have George Fant and Noah Fant, and they both play side by side on the field at O tackle and tight end. NF42 saying, but game script for Fant seems dicey if Dolphins implode without Tua. He's already got enough target share. Right. That said, though, if they're blowing out Miami, Charbonnet's not looking very efficient on the ground. So if they decide to kind of like let Metcalf and JSN coast in the second half, and it's just like easy dump offs to Fant. That's all I'm saying. And then there's a chance. I think the way you play that is like there's a chance that Skylar Thompson isn't complete ass. That's probably not gonna work against Mike McDonald, but yeah, it's Mike McDonald versus Mike McDaniels this week. That's not annoying. I expect more low ADOT, swing pass, jet motion, like even more than usual to try to keep the run game and the pass game very cheat, unhonorable NFL stuff this week. If Achane does Achane things, they could potentially keep this a little bit closer than not. But yeah, I understand not wanting to play Fant right now. I'd say I'm more concerned with the fact that he had a toe and an ankle injury this week. So it seems like injuries are keeping him potentially more sapped than just the target competition. But totally valid. It seems like wheels up again for Metcalf and JSN. Your worry is game script. Do they stop getting pushed by the end of the first half? Cheers, Pings. Historical Anomalies asking, can Tom tell us why the Ravens are in a hurry to lock up a backup running back? Probably not great for Mitchell. Folks, why would the Ravens sign Justice Hill to an extension? Is it because Justice Hill matters? Justice has always mattered. This is America, baby. Justice always. That's a lie. This justice system is a joke. All right. So yeah, I think we've all established tight end's pretty gross. Kittle's not going to play. Laporta has a potential narrative to get going. For fantasy points, I don't know if that's going to hit the projection, but Ben Johnson either tongue in cheek or told us exactly, it's yours to decipher, that it's Laporta's week. Andrew's usage improving, but still not nearly as strong. Now, that said, pivoting wise, talking about usage, Olave usage very nice. Not so much in the red zone, but usage very strong. Everyone is going to chase to Ayuk to overperform with Debo and Kittle out. Totally fair. Devonta is a smash of smash. Zay Flowers, smash of smashes. His usage has been insane. They have the fluky, weird Chiefs game, despite seeing 10 targets, only gets 37 yards. Week 2, against a much easier defense, smashes. He's operating as the number one target in Baltimore. Team total suggests a competitive game, has potential to shoot out if Dak and Lamb get on the same page and just abandon the run and start hitting big plays. Dallas defense, kind of fine week 1, definitely not as fine week 2, obviously. So Zay seems super, like there's some very fun, very, very fun wide receivers to be chasing. Zay's usage super strong. You expect the game to be competitive the entire time, much more so than others. So I definitely think, Zay and Godwin probably belong in a tier right behind Smith if I was ranking it. We have a question in the chat from RGQ. I need help. Kittle is most likely not to play. Correct. Who should I start week 3? Gesicki, Pat Freiermuth versus LAC, Parkinson versus San Francisco. I just realized I have San Francisco defense. I don't know about Parkinson. My brother in Christ, lucky for you. You played Gesicki and you don't even think about it. Easy peasy. I have said it before on Twitter. I'll say it again here. I was wrong about Gesicki. Turns out if Jamar Chase is not playing that well early in the season and T. Higgins is missing time and Yoshi Voss is just fine and the offense is kind of out of sorts, the guys that had a good connection all in camp, Gesicki and Burrow, as 2 wide receivers sat out for new contracts, they continue to roll on. His total snaps and routes are not strong, but his target share when he's on the field is strong. They definitely had a tight end heavy game plan last week. Just lost a close game. So Gesicki, very strong play there this week. And then the Monday night game, right? They're one of the primetime games. Let's see. NF42 saying Kalen Carson versus Flowers gives up the second highest fantasy points per route run at 0.40. Ooh, deep in the weeds matchup stuff. Yeah, I would just say Flowers' usage is strong. You just follow the usage, and this is not exactly like a shutdown defense by any means. And even if it was, that doesn't mean it's going to shut them out completely. But yes, thank you. That's the thing. They're going to be players that people the names aren't as exciting to play or chase, and you definitely should. If people are kind of trying to figure out which Andrew is likely, which Baltimore tight end do I play, the answer is probably play the wide receiver that's crushing right now. Would I be scared chasing points with Gesicki? No. Week 1, he was an almost catch away from another touchdown. His usage is his targeting is pretty strong. Higgins is likely in, but that just means the offense might be very, very improved. Also, the Washington defense is a joke this week. If there's ever a week where the offense just goes and puts out 40 points to say we're back, bitches, it's this one. T. Higgins saying he's 100%. He may not be 100%, and we know re-injury risk is about 15 to 20% with these hamstring soft tissue injuries. And Washington can't stop a leaky faucet. So much less a big ass fire hose. You just go chase it. Go chase that game script. Only if you don't worry about weather unless it's the worst of the worst weather. Unless it's a downpour, unless it's 30 miles per hour or more a wind. Okay, this feels like a good exercise to say, who might the market be forgetting about or underrating? I think Lamar definitely stands out, but I don't think the market's really disrespecting. Just quarterback ADPs are a bit down. Overall, we're being reminded that Stroud is kind of being held back by some poor game management, some insistence on running the football, not an offense in rhythm as much. Nico still stands to be a grown ass man. He's off the injury report. Brian Flores is going to do his damnedest to keep this offense off its stilts. It didn't have much rhythm last week against a pretty competent Bears defense. So that's one concern with Stroud. That said, with Cam Akers operating as the running back one this week, they are incentivized to go more towards the pass, have more answers versus this defense. If there's ever a week where like they're going to just hit the Stroud go nuke game, should be this one. I worry that with the multiple look and stymieing out of rhythm, they just kind of, and they trusted Akers, who did pretty well in the preseason, that they kind of just end up leaning on their trusted vet more than they don't. But yes, as Historical Anomaly says, it is Nico, grown ass man, Gam with the yams, big ass yams. He's also got fucking big ass mittens. But yeah, Nico Gam season fully on. Derek Carr's a phone because, like, if you want to talk about cheap double stacks, Carr with Kamara and Olave, or Shaheed and Olave, or Kamara and Shaheed, his usage is great. His efficiency is great. He is getting a high-end matchup with a defense that hasn't been able to stop much of anything. So that's, I much prefer Derek Carr over Brock Purdy and probably Stroud, if we're being honest with ourselves, very easily as far as what we're seeing and how things are kind of setting up. We mentioned Baker with the Bucks doubles. AR is always in play because of his rushing. Chicago defense, definitely a little bit more stymieing than the Green Bay defense, who just got him to play one of his worst games, but could easily be a bounce back game where, his thing is they're going to put, unlike the Jaden Daniels Cliff Kingsbury offense, they're pushing the ball very deep, being very aggressive, a lot of high air yards. And he's getting Josh Downs back, who they had a great connection in camp. Josh Downs was crushing his rookie year before the foot injury. So he's getting a fully healthy cast back this week. I say fully healthy. Pittman's got like a back and calf thing. So, but is it maybe this offense needs to lose Michael Pittman and just upgrade with Josh Downs, and all of a sudden, you're clicking. NF42 saying, I think Kamara and Dobbins might come back down to earth this week. I definitely think so. So for J.K. Dobbins, great shout. Let's talk about that for a moment, shall we? So for J.K. Dobbins, we need to know a couple things. As a J.K. Dobbins hater and fader, I do have to say, holy shit! Early season run out, very valuable, very good. Two things. One, they played the Raiders week one. Their defense has sucked. They are the worst in EPA versus basically everything, play action, pass. They are giving up everything and anything. And then the second week, they play the Carolina Panthers, who we now know are complete garbage, and their defense sucks. And they lost a couple D linemen, and they lost a couple more this week. So, yes, this week they're playing a much better Pittsburgh defense. So the first not cupcake matchup he's getting. That said, he's getting more volume. He already had 7 more attempts. He's getting some pass game usage. It's not super strong. I think the concern with Dobbins is twofold. Tougher matchup, and the second is that Herbert will be limited and or out. And so if Easton Stick is running they're probably going to lean on the run more, but that means the defense knows it can key in more on the run game. And unlike the hapless defenses he's faced the last 2 weeks that can't plug a gap and also can't make a tackle, Pittsburgh's not really struggling with that at all. So yeah, I think Dobbins definitely back down to earth. That said, his volume could still be pretty strong given how poor Gus Edwards has been. The concerns about Gus still getting more work in the red zone and goal line are probably not as strong this week, where this team's probably not likely to see the goal line very much. That said, with Kamara, I don't see it coming back down to earth with Kamara this week, given how weak Philly's defense has been, giving up more yards per carry this year than previously. I know it's just 2 weeks, but it's seemingly they're they're not really being able to stop the run right now in almost like an old school LA Chargers-esque way. And the Saints offensive line and offensive system is creating more gaps and um, more yardage ahead of time. That said, I'm totally fine from like a contrarian standpoint to fade those two because there are similarly strong plays at running back. The workload for Kamara is where it could not matter as far as efficiency. I mean, 4 touchdowns is obviously stupid strong, but but totally fair point. Carolina was the much weaker defense. The defense he's facing this week in Philly, probably a few rungs above them, and 15 carries, 5 touches, only 1 touchdown, but still 20 PPR points. So I think the thing though is like Carolina was not pushing them at all, and how much did they have to really go and try versus this week in Philly. So I think the usage is what you are more afraid of from that perspective. Dobbins, the volume hasn't quite increased to a point where we feel really confident it can overcome an efficiency dip. All right, the start sit questions keep rolling in. If this keeps on going, I don't have to go live Sunday. Let's see. Andrew G asks, would you consider starting Thielen over Jennings full PPR? I would definitely consider it just because there's similar plays of like ancillary wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 types right now. You know what? Before I answer this question, let me check something on this. Let's see. The thing with Juwan Jennings is I lean yes just because Jacob Cowan could easily shift in to kind of fill in for Debo, who was doing pretty well in the preseason and for early opportunities. Let's see. So thus far, Adam Thielen seeing 13% target share, 10.7 ADOT, which is higher than Deontay Johnson 7.9, 19% air yards. I don't mind it considering Dalton and this defense. The LA defense, not anything super strong. Canales used a lot of play action last year, and the Raiders are last in the league through 2 weeks against play action passes. If those are your only options, yeah, it's probably Thielen, just because versus this Rams defense, they have no reason to like throw the ball more than 20 times because they can just keep smashing the Jordan Mason button. It's Gesicki, Ertz, Freiermuth in that order. I guess, yeah. Ertz usage is fine. Definitely better involvement than in volume than what you're seeing in Washington, but it's Gesicki by a mile. I am drinking the J.K. Dustman's haterade. No, I'm like literally. I think his projection's probably spot on this week. Like it's a harder matchup, potential QB downgrade with Herbert saying he's not sure if he's going to play this week, and he got 3 receptions for no yards week 1 and only 1 reception for no yards. So like the receiving part is not really there to help buoy any rushing efficiency dip. He's been far more efficient than I would have thought. He should be like I did say like his one out was that he had elite burst in his RAS score and his age suggested less likely and more likely quick return if he was going to do it. And then all the docs said, it's going to take like mid to late season for him to potentially regain that true burst juice. And so all that's saying is he's definitely shoving down my throat, but he's had the best run out you could have imagined to do it in the first 2 weeks. This week, likely, I won't be surprised if this is like the 1 week that maybe scares people off of thinking this is fuck, oh shit, and then it's totally fine back the next week. Because who do they play week 4? Chargers play. We're getting way off the rails. See what happens when I'm left to my own devices. Yeah, they play the Chiefs week 4. So I won't be surprised. Chiefs week 4, and then week 5 is... I can't read. Jesus, why can I not quickly find them? Oh, they're on bye week 5. That's why I'm stupid. Okay, so yeah, I won't be surprised if this Pittsburgh matchup is the one down week early on for Dobbins. If you manifest it, it'll happen. I mean, Gus is the real story is that Gus is fucking shit. Any doubt that Dobbins is good is the fact that it's just the O line is no Gus looks awful behind the same O line. Jahmyr Gibbs is another interesting play because his receiving work is definitely buoying some meh rushing stuff this week. He gets the Arizona defense. So he and Monty, again, remain fun plays. Monty, a pivot off of Gibbs or off of Laporta. Or just for a potential, red zone pop with a hot, like Arizona's going to push the Lions. So Arizona Lions stuff's going to be a lot of fun. Derrick Henry gets there because of a touchdown, but again, really soft matchup versus Las Vegas. We see a pretty normal matchup versus Kansas City week 1. Only scores 10 half PPR points because of a touchdown, salvaging his day. He's getting no real receiving work. That's all going to Justice Hill this week against Dallas. Not nearly as interesting of a play. Charbonnet remains a very strong play given workload, given Miami's defense, given he saw 98% of the workload last week, including 5 receptions. So his receiving work is very solid for that. And if they're blowing the ass out of the Dolphins, well, guess who's going to see more work? Yeah, the Gus bus has flat tires. Spears, questionable to play. Probably keeping a little bit of ownership off Tony Pollard, but Tony Pollard's operated as the main running back. And this week it's the Green Bay defense that Saquon and the Philly offense was able to have their way with. So Pollard, another interesting guy to do your first or second running back with. Zamir White this is the now or never week. It was the same thesis for Neighbors against Washington, Dimes against Washington, and now Jamar Chase and Burrow this week versus Washington. Washington's the get right spot for receivers. Carolina is the get right spot for running backs. If he's going to actually be given 20 carries this week, that said, I would have bought that narrative more strongly with a Bryce Young start more than a Dalton start. Dalton can be capable of being reckless, but also much more accurate and in rhythm. So if this game's competitive, the pass rate over expected is being like top 5 or 7 in the league is what leads me to believe that Zamir White may just be a narrative flop versus some of the other plays. I think like if you're between like Zamir and Akers, for instance, I understand potentially going Zamir, but I think Akers likely to see more of the workload, just much softer of a play. DeAndre Swift has the softest matchup of his life coming up, but you can't make me. You can't make me. I think Najee or Warren are probably better plays. Ty Chandler's a very interesting play. He was very efficient versus San Francisco last week. If he just somehow gets a lot more of the work, the real answer is probably to Akers or Zamir of your like nasty, disgusting scroll down play is probably Chuba. Chuba's running back share increased. JJ Zachariason noted that he basically took way more of the backfield over this last week versus LA, and now gets a quarterback upgrade against a very soft defense that has seen several running backs have very nice days against them. Chuba probably belongs above this cohort of guys. He probably belongs right behind and in line with Rachaad White, who is ceding work to Bucky Irving. Singletary is similarly strong play, just given as much of the workload as he's seeing. Javonte Williams is like a what if they finally figure it the fuck out? Their backfield just seems like it's gonna just fuck with themselves nonstop. NF42 says 3 total shares of Andy Dalton in BBM5. Wow. You're not even certain those are gonna last, right? But yeah, that's he feels like the worst version of Joe Flacco, but watch him shove it down my throat. Okay. So that's quarterback. We did I cover all the quarterbacks? Dak has been complete ass, like EPA and completion percentage over expected has been complete ass versus what we're used to seeing. So if he somehow gets back and gets right, this is a fun week to stack him cheaply, especially with Ferguson coming back. So that's definitely an interesting pivot. We talked about the Detroit doubles. Geno doubles are always live. Donald doubles sneaky better just with Jefferson and Naylor both playing really well and playing very healthy. Until they just start letting Fields do Fields things, which is like scrambling like a madman. He's not exactly someone you're wanting to chase. That said, he and Pickens have had quite a bit of missed it by that much or called back by penalty. So a Fields Pickens stack would be very interesting. Much more interesting if Herbert plays, for like competitive game script wise. But they could be a sneaky nuke pairing together if they somehow start opening up the passing offense versus a defense they are not afraid of. Arthur Smith saying first week or two they were avoiding the strengths of the defense. I don't think anyone thinks the LA linebackers are a strength. So interesting little 1-2 pairing there, Pickens and Fields. With Fields, you still get not quite the rushing upside that we've seen in the past, but what if this is just an aberration of managing expectations and keeping games close for now? Dalton, an interesting play. I think this is definitely more of a Fugazi when you dig into the efficiency numbers. That said, we talked about it. Canales being top 5 with Tampa Bay last year in play action, and Las Vegas being stone worst across the board in all metrics defensively versus play action. Deontay Johnson still good, still getting open. Adam Thielen is there. Maybe. We've seen him do it before with a worse version of the team. Interesting. Probably from a pass volume standpoint, probably more live than a field stack, but it feels worse. I don't think you have to get that disgusting because I really truly think the Darnold, Dak, Goff, Derek Carr guys are all just as viable and their stacking partners much stronger. All right, we want to draft one. Draft one, then get out of here. If you want to get in this, what's the delay? Like 12 seconds. I'm giving you a couple more seconds. Now I'm jumping in. Like a Snapville. Get the 2 pick. ATX Bearcat. I recognize you. I know you. The weekend is here, folks. I'm very excited. What a week. How's everybody else's week been? All right, refreshing Twitter, going to see if there's any late-breaking injury shit I probably should have checked before jumping in. Dwayne McFarland saying that Brandon Ayuk is his wide receiver 5 for the week. Evan Ingram not practicing, so for you DFS and managed league folks, Britton Strange, sneaky tight end guy. As far as tight ends go, I think Britton Strange slots in above Colby Parkinson, probably right around Taysom and Schultz, projections-wise, given his role in the offense, pretty much just given exactly what Ingram was getting. And we've seen that before. All right, we'll see what Rodney Chuck does, and then decide where we want to go from there. He goes Lamb, so we're going to have to make our choice between Monroe. I think the running backs make a lot of sense here. You're only going to get your choice of one. I think the strongest workload is between Mason and Barkley. Mason's on the thumbnail. I mean, if his name was CMC, he'd be ranked above all these other guys. So we're going to go Mason here. I made that stand early in the week. I stand by it. His quarterback's less likely to take anything away, and with Kittle being out, it makes even more sense to kind of lean into the run. The run blocking could be affected, but the Rams defense can't stop anything. Cowboy loves getting some strange. Not kid. I would if I could. Nah, all right. She just got home. Quit trying to get me in trouble. We're going to have a decision here. For me, the decision's pretty straightforward. You see Devonta Smith go. So they're setting up a Hurts double there. What's up, Snowman? Welcome. Folks, I think y'all are the best. I see a 1-to-1 viewer to like ratio on my not refreshed YouTube. So if you are here and if you haven't liked, please hit that like button. McBride gets sniped right in front of us. Brutal. You hate to see it. So now we have a decision: Devontae Adams or Brock Bowers. I think we're going to go with the Brock Bowers. Make sure we don't miss out on the tight end one and expected usage in Leone's model right now. A-Rod says, damn, Cowboy, where the fuck you been, brother? I have been in Vegas for ship chasing, draft, watch parties, extravaganzas, and then I was right back out on vacation to Southern California in Laguna and San Diego, aka whale penis, with the wife. So I just got back from vacation. I just finished up a short but very packed work week, and now we're back. That's where I've been. It's good to be back, though. I missed y'all, too. Zach Charbonnet going very early. So from a receiver standpoint, Adams or Gibbs here makes a lot of sense. I think we'll do Adams. We'll just go after the top two Las Vegas pass rate guys. It allows us to have a Chuba bring back as our RB2 potentially. I really want Godwin as my second. Dude, vacay was great. You can't tell, but I'm much more tan than I was. Thanks for the white light. No, it was great, man. It was fantastic to take a break. It was fantastic to dogs are going nuts in the background. Jesus. Let me pick some items. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. Easy. Almost don't mention. Jeez, man, those fucking dogs. No, vacation was great. It's great to be away. Great to be on the beach all the time. Had some awesome food. Found like a handmade pasta place. It was divine. Lots of coffee, lots of beach. All right, we're gonna take Godwin getting the potential Bucks stack as well as the Cooper Cup light roll. Tennessee's been pretty stingy, but Josh Jacobs' workload's been pretty high. That said, with the Malik Willis stuff, not as much receiving. You just thought it was some ID-themed background music. Could y'all actually hear that? Usually this is really good at masking incoming. Ooh, no, I take that back. Yeah, let's take all the guys we made stands on. How's that sound? That sounds better, right? You know, do we want to do a 3? Well, so the 2 running backs probably more optimal. Taylor's got a strong projection. He suffers from AR-anitis. Now let's do 3 receiver. These guys' ceilings are all really high, and their usage right now is insane. We've got the Baker out. We've got the Minshew out. Underdog music was just barking. Underdog does need a theme. That said, I like the theme for Josh and Hayden's show. I like that little bit of like coffee jazz stuff. I like that a lot. Yeah, I think Baker's ceiling being a little undervalued. We take the Godwin setup. So if Godwin hits 20 plus points, Devontae hits 20 plus points, and Zay hits 20 plus points, Baker's live. He's been getting a little bit more rushing work too. And if the running backs are kind of shite, then we could see that. But we could also do naked AR, which worked very nicely week 1. We just saw Bowers and Adams have very usable weeks without Minshew mattering. So definitely think it's either Baker or naked AR. We didn't take Taylor. So let's do everybody scared off of AR, but his rushing upside is still immensely high because his base projection is higher than Baker Mayfield. And boom, we get some of our favorites. AR, Jordan Mason, and we go 3 receiver build with Adams, Godwin, Zay, and then Brock Bowers. Very nice. And then I plan on doing a lot more of these. I've just been stupid busy with work. How we doing? Did I rip another one? We'll do una más. Una más, folks. Una más. Also, it's been so cool seeing the channel growing. Tom and Rich been doing awesome work. So if you're still here, I do want to mention, if you didn't check out Tom and Rich's starts, sits video and their matchup analysis for starts and sits, really actionable stuff. They went through every game, broke down, really enjoyed that, and dig into that. Really good shit. Also, if you are a member of the channel, jump into the Discord. They've got their ranks. We've got our premium start sits and DFS ranks, dynasty ranks. Tom and Rich have been crushing it on the content spectrum, writing, recording, everything about it. So if you checked out those videos this week, especially the matchup start sit one, very, very good. I will be going live Sunday morning right before kickoff to go through all the injury reports, all of the assessments from Jeff Mueller and Edwin Porras's injury databases to give you injury analysis as well as start sit advice, last minute stuff based on weather news, injury news, matchup stuff, vibes, and projections. We're going to give you a little bit of everything. But appreciate everybody coming back to the channel and feeding the well while I have been away, getting a much needed break from work and content because your boy has been double dipping. All 3 of us on this channel double dip real work and content. So much needed break. Stroud goes 101 and for a potentially unique, interesting draft here today. I thank everybody for supporting the channel. It's been awesome seeing it grow. We surpassed 3K before week 1, and now we are continuing to rock and roll. All right, we have a decision once again to do Mason, Saquon, or Achane. Let's set up a Philly thing. Maybe we get something weird. Every once in a while, I'll do ADP just to see if we can't get a little with John Warner of the Badge Bros. Shout out to the Badge Bros, by the way, doing awesome stuff. Them with Pete Overzet today doing Off and On the Clock and a really awesome Battle Royale and Pick'em slate. Oh, speaking of Pick'ems, I could probably walk through some of my favorite. I mentioned some of them. I'll leave them in the chat here. Godwin over receptions. What was the other one off the top of my head? I was doing Devonta Smith over receptions or yards. Go with Godwin, which one you like. Could even sneaky do fantasy points. Jordan Mason over rush receiving touchdown. And Kyler over rush yards. Those are some of the ones I've been kind of core and hammering in my builds lately. Achan goes, so the 6 goes Mason and Achan. That's fun. We're going to grab one of these grown-ass men for our wide receiver 1. Or we go Trey McBride for the tight end, and we play that hammy injury. So it's Nico or it's Trey. I mean, Nico, grown-ass man, like historical anomaly said. Bendels, GM, Bubba, good to see you. How's it going? How did it feel to get back in the streaming streets last week? Knock the rust off. Justice Hill news. God, I have had such a good run out since our I think Tom and I's last Best Ball Mania Underdog stream that Corain came and crashed because we were in the same room together. And I pitched Justice Hill as a worthwhile take, and they both poo-poo me so fucking hard. Oh yeah, he doesn't throw to the running backs. Blah, blah, blah. Week 1, he's getting peppered with targets, and we're at the watch party, and I am just screaming at Corain, "Say his name! Say his name! It's fucking Justice!" Oh god, and then he gets the fucking contract extension today. I'm having a run out of bit narrative best ball takes. Hey, if Cowboy make everybody rich, make it rain, and hopefully make me rich one day. Felt glorious. Hell yeah, Bindles. Hell yeah. This snowman said I never really went too hard on Battle Royale, but this weekend it's on. I'm 53 so far. I mean, it's still early in the season, so like it's ripe for the taking. We get Trey McGronky, baby, coming all the way back around. Delicious. We did bypass Devonta, not likely to come back, but I really would like Trey McBride. You weren't getting him or Brock, I don't think, back at the turn. But we have some bailouts, so we'll be quite all right. Nice. I'm Trey-sexual for McGronk. Is that weird to say? Okay, Jonathan Mateo hitting me once more. Okay, hold on. Didn't you already post this? I thought I answered your question. Also, are these like alt lines for Godwin and Henry? So is this like your parlay? If it's your parlay, I like it just fine. I don't like the Henry over as part of it. I would remove the Henry if you're saying Derrick Henry over rushing yards. That's the only thing I don't like about that slip. Everything else is totally fine. Holy shit, brothers and sisters. We're cooking the GM of all GMs. My God. Gam chasing. Okay, Sebastian asks Josh Allen, J.K. Dobbins, Tyreek Hill, Ridley, and Ingram for Lamar, Bijan, Debo, Tank, and Kelsey. Okay, so Allen, JKD, Hill, Ridley, and Ingram. I'm assuming half PPR, no tight end premium. Allen, Dobbins, Hill, Ridley, Ingram for Lamar, Bijan, Debo, Tank, Kelsey. Debo hurt, Tua out for at least 4 weeks. It's probably the Allen side. I'd stick with the Allen side. Ingram's probably back next week. Tyreek is lesser than himself, but still not dead. Ridley, easily the wide receiver 1 on that team, with Hopkins still dealing with a pretty bad injury. Kelsey's not himself, but not washed. Tank Dell, usage is underlying really good, but still hard to say. Bijan, very good. The Debo thing is a calf thing, so you're worried about. Yeah, I think I'd go with it, Josh Allen. Full PPR, no tight end premium. Okay, full PPR. Full PPR, it's still the Josh Allen team. Damn chasing. The snowman saying everything we're all thinking. Saying 80% of the things you say are weird. Weird fits you well, my dude. Brother, I'm just who I am. All right. We're going to get a chance to potentially stack the running back, James Conner with McBride thing. I don't mind that at all. I like it more than the Charbonnet. I could do another 3 receiver with Smith and Godwin, but I think that's not the play. His usage is, I don't know, his usage, they're both usages is really strong. That said, quarterback wise, we're once again looking at Baker would go Godwin, AR naked. Let's do Connor against Detroit. So we've got the Arizona without Kyler. We might just end up with naked AR again. We didn't get Hurts. We didn't get Kyler. Who took Kyler? Kyler went naked without Marv. Hurts went naked. We're just getting cucked here, boys. Oh well. I will take naked Lamar versus your naked. What? Yeah, every fucking quarterback in this goddamn pool went naked except for potentially steady 3-1 feet. All right, 3-1 feet. All right. Yeah. So Hurts went, Kyler went, Stroud went 101 for reasons unbeknownst to me. So we will take naked AR, and we have another naked AR team. All right. So, I answered your question. Any plans for the weekend? Maxing and relaxing, brother. Got some pick'ems going. I posted my core up above. Can I pin this? I cannot pin it. But if you see, these were kind of my core midweek. I haven't revisited the projections, but those are kind of my underdog pick'em core. Other than that, just gonna watch the game, maybe hit some pool. Gotta hit the gym. Get a little bit more of these dailies in, and then just try to relax. I've been so busy with work. It's gonna be a busy work week. All right, let's see. Chandler Constantino asks, start Derek Carr or Purdy 6-point pass. It's Carr easily. Carr's team's healthier, passing total's better. Will not be surprised if they continue working through Jordan Mason in the run game versus the hapless Rams. Ride the heat with Derek Carr. The motion is sticky. The play action is sticky. The offense is playing really well. Nino Pena. Folks, if I answered your question, please hit the like. Please hit subscribe. I'm going to be doing Start Sit this Sunday morning. I'm going live right before lock, probably an hour and a half before the game starts, to answer all your last-minute questions on Start Sits, give you all the injury updates, give you how those injuries could potentially impact their performances and their player performances, go through all the news stuff, hit you, answer using projections and vibes, but mostly injury database and projections. So if you're popping in and saying, hey, appreciate you, thank you, hit like, hit subscribe. We just had a video, Tom and Rich, on this channel, went through all the matchups, talking through all the games, all the guys you need to know. And I will also be going live Sunday morning to answer these Start Sit questions. So if you like this shit, hit the like, hit the sub, stick around, brothers. We got good shit. And every once in a while we do giveaways. We gave away like what? $200-$300 over the summer. Keep it going. Love it. One of my favorite things to do. Captain Joe King, huge fan of the show. Thank you. Arnie a sub. I appreciate you, brother. Traded Worthy and Flowers for Bowers. You got Bowers. Pretty bold. I just think there's a new king in town. Bowers finishes 10. I mean, you know what? I've referenced this. Let me pull up. It's a pretty chart that someone in the community actually does the visuals for Leone, apparently. Let's do this. Okay, so bold. Why, yes, Captain Joe King, it is. But stupid? I don't think so. So, as you can see, Brock Bowers leads the league. Isaiah Likely, Fugazi, week 1, right? Number 1 in the league in expected points through 2 weeks. And what he's doing is dominating. It's like the expected usage. The targets are strong. The pass rate over expected is way stronger than we could have hoped for in Las Vegas. So, I mean, right now he's the tight end 1 in expected, and it's not doing anything but getting stronger because he's also outproducing it because they're giving him both low A dot and medium A dot stuff. So I Flower. The question is like, is it dynasty or redraft? Because dynasty, totally fine. Redraft, I like Flowers a lot, but I also understand that, like, in like a 10 or a 12-man league, like winning at the onesies is huge. Hard to say you lost there because you're buying in on a rookie crushing right now. I appreciate you, Tom, but y'all are doing killer work too. All right, Christopher Sowers asking, Sowers or Sowers? With Mixon injury, who should I start at flex, Hubbard or pick up Cam Akers? I don't know what the rest of your roster looks like, Christopher. I'm in a similar boat as you. I dropped an ancillary wide receiver 2-3 to pick up Akers because I'm hurting at running back with Mixon out. I think Akers is a strong like RB2 flex guy. That said, Hubbard likely the stronger flex play. He's seeing more of the work. Dalton is a QB upgrade. This matchup against the Raiders is really nice. For sure, Hubbard. I would just say anytime you could potentially pick up a starting running back in a week, we have no idea how long Mixon may miss with this ankle injury, and Dameon Pierce being ruled out much earlier in the week could mean he's out for longer. You never know. 1 week could turn into 2 or 3. So, Nino Pena asks any thoughts on that trade. Oh, did you miss my answer? Oh, no, I missed your question. My bad. In a 10-man full PPR, all right, hit the like, hit the sub. Por favor. Muchas gracias. Nino Pena. In a 10-man full PPR redraft league, I traded Rice, DJ Moore, and Gibbs for Jettas and James Cook. Jettas is an upgrade on Rice, but they're not too separated in tiers. DJ Moore in managed and PPR, more of like a wide receiver 3 right now. Gibbs is probably, you know what? It's fine. I think it's fine. James Cook is crushing. He's getting much more touchdown equity. They're not being very heavy pass rate right now, but the offense is looking good. I think they're like second in the league in EPA per play. And Jettis is obviously crushing right now with very serviceable Darnold. So I think Rice gets a boost with Hollywood being out for so long and kind of driving the engine, but Gibbs is still kind of ceding some work to Montgomery. James Cook ceding less work to Ray Davis, so it's fine. I don't mind it at all. Or Jerry Judy. You're saying, oh, so okay, is it PPR, half PPR, and half PPR? I say Hubbard. PPR, you could probably tempt me with Judy with Ninjoku out this week again. But I think Hubbard's a safer play than Akers because we don't know how much work he's going to get. If you told me he was getting like 85 to 90% of the work, I'd probably lean Akers, but there's a chance he just splits with Ogunbowale. Michael Heary, say his name. Maybe he appears. Michael Heary. GM here for your like. Hey, baseball on call. How you doing? I don't know why I'm doing Adam Sandler now, but it's an hour and 25 minutes into the show. Hi, baseball on call. I've missed you. I've missed baseball. And I did Ryan. What's up, Ryan? Hey, I did Ryan. That's what I said. Doing Adam Sandler while Ryan's popping in. What's up, big dog? Just drafted a couple BRs. Going to draft a little bit more this weekend. Jordan Mason chalk. Nom. I'm eating him up, brother. Zay Flowers, sneaky good. Godwin, disrespected. He's going to fucking be another smash play this week. Expected usage. Awesome. Whoever asked about Mike Gesicki, I should have pulled up this fucking chart for him earlier on. Appreciate you, brother. And again, I will be going live Sunday morning for start sits right before the game, about an hour and a half before. So get your questions in. And if you have questions, if you become a member of the channel for like $1 a month, I think is like the base tier, get into the Discord. You can post as many start sit questions and trade questions as you want in the premium Discord, and we answer it like lickety split. You've got me, Tom, and Rich all giving you advice in there. Michael Chat, what up? What up? Nice to have you. That's cool. Asks, is Olave and Purdy for Josh Allen a bad trade? I'm just debating. I would be getting Allen. The person with Allen has Pittman and Amari starting every week. I mean, obviously depends on your depth at receiver, but upgrading to a potential, QB1, top 3 QB. Purdy's middling to bad right now. Debo being out, it's not going to help him. Kittle being out, it's not going to help him in the short term. Just becomes the Jordan Mason, Brandon Ayuk show, mostly the Jordan Mason show. Purdy's kind of been struggling a little bit this year. I think it's fine. I want pieces of the Saints, but I understand in managed in these 12-man leagues the power of dominating the onesies. And right now, Allen's attached to a top 5 offense. I think it's fine. I just worry about I hope you're really strong at receiver to be able to do that. But yeah, anytime you can do a 2-for-1, you usually end up taking the one side. Christopher Sowers or Sowers, we haven't gotten confirmation, but asks, I have Njoku, so should I start Gesicki or Schultz? I seen Gesicki is limited in full PPR. I'm starting Gesicki, and it's not close. You have Nico and Amon-Ra, Olave as your flex. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I am fine with that. Okay, the BR stream turned into a start, sit, and trade questions, but you know what? We adapt, we survive. I'll pause here, see if anybody else has got questions they want to ask as I am going to check for any more late breaking news from the Underdog NFL channel. If you haven't checked them out, and if you're not a member of UnderdogFantasy.com, you can join using promo code Sanctuary for up to $1,000 in bonus cash, or as we around here like to call boner cash. And dude, the Pick'ems boosts and the vulture protection and the discounted picks and the free picks they're giving out, fucking awesome, man. Every week with their calendar of picks, it's legits to quits. So if you're not on there, check it out. Platform of the people. No, looks like nothing more late breaking. And let's see. I'll pull up that promo. I saw a chat come in. Hey, appreciate you, brother. Clarify, is it Sowers or Sowers? I want to get your name right. And appreciate you. Welcome to the channel. If you missed it, I will be live Sunday morning doing more start sit right before the game for any late breaking injury or weather stuff. So feel free to come right back here at probably 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern time for going live for the oh shit, look at that. There's a 50% profit boost token for getting in the Underdog Discord. That's nice. Where's their base thing? Yeah, they're dropping these like every week for the calendar. It's good shit. All right. Let's see. McClan2215 asks, should I start Amari Cooper, Josh Downs, Quentin Johnson, or Jaden Reed? Cooper's got the strongest usage. He's just missed out on a bunch of big plays, so he's in a tier of himself. I think it comes down to, and I don't know, half PPR. That's a little helpful. If Love was starting, it's probably Reed. Let me check. I know the Packers have had some injuries this week. Let me check their injury report. Why is Twitter doing this? Where is your injury report, Green Bay? Let's see. Love practiced limited all week. He has not been cleared medically, though, so he probably doesn't start this week. Jaden Reed was limited with a chin injury. That's interesting. I think you got to go Cooper as long as Malik Willis is starting quarterback. What time for the Euros? Un momento, por favor, historical anomalies. $5:30 p.m. in Europe per Google. 11:30 p.m. Holy shit! Why is that? Oh, interesting. That's fucking brutal. Those poor bastards. Oh yeah, no. For Sunday. Brother, I know. Tom has been grinding his cock off between unemployment and then getting a new job and then grinding his cock to a nub with all the fantasy content he's been doing. He has been crushing it, but this man is tired. He is a father. My wife won't let me work that much. She'd kill me. Hats off to you, brother. Okay, so yeah, McClan, full PPR. I still go Cooper. His usage is stupid insane. He's been on the bad end of some drops and some misses. I want to say Josh Downs. Here's the problem. Quentin Johnston, Herbert's going to be limited. They have a tougher matchup this week, and there's a potential that Herbert doesn't play, and you're not playing any receiver with Easton Stick and feeling good about it. So, and if with Cooper's usage, you feel like an idiot if you benched him for any one of these Joe Schmo jabronis and he goes off. Jaden is the guy as long as Love isn't starting. I don't think Love starts this week. There's a chance Herbert doesn't start. And Josh Downs, I want to say yes to. The problem is it is a volatile offense without a ton of volume. He can crush. Pittman might be potentially limited with the calf in the back this week. But he's coming off a ankle sprain after week one. I'm like, we probably we won't see a whole lot of dip in efficiency this week, but we're likely to see far less next week. So I want to first see how he's integrated with the role because Alec Pierce has been doing really well in that role. So all that to say, it's Cooper in a landslide. And now I want to sing Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. It took me a minute. Well, that's how they get you. They get you from behind. Luka injury hurt all of our teams, brother. Yeah, cheers to Tom. Cheers to everybody else. Happy weekend. All these cheers all around. Look at all these vibes. Look at all these good vibes we have. Folks, if you're still here and you haven't hit the like or the subscribe, please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. We are cranking out all this type of awesome content all the time. Yours truly, Tyler, a.k.a. Emo Cowboy, coming to you live at least 2 times a week going forward. I was out on vacation and in Vegas doing unspeakably fun things, but Daddy's back. And I think this has wrapped up our Battle Royale. I hope you got some good info from some of our picks, some of our talkings through, and enjoyed kind of adapting to start, sit, and trade questions. We'll be fielding even more of those Sunday morning at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, and 5:30 GDT, as the Euros call it, for your pre-kickoff Sunday start, sit, and trade question stream. Appreciate everyone joining us today for the Fantasy Sanctuary. Don't forget that if you aren't on Underdog Fantasy sports fantasy platform, you're missing out, folks. Daily drafts out the yin yang. Best Ball Resurrection just around the corner, so you can save all your horrible bags and takes that have died. Pick'ems out the yin yang, discounts and boosts at the yin yang. If you're not on Underdog Sports, get on there. Promo code Sanctuary gets you up to $1,000 bonus cash. So with that, folks, have a great weekend. I'll see you Sunday. Like I said, live start, sit, and trade question stream right before kickoff. Have a great weekend. See you then. Don't make any rash judgment trades, and don't tinker too much with your lineups. Wait till Sunday morning. Let Papa help you. Have a good one, y'all.